I'm going to show you how we can use our Google Calendar to add additional information and access to documents or other resources along with our calendar events. So just for comparison, I wanted to look at the calendar that I have created, where I've already added some events. Here's a very simple event, just noting the first day of the summer session. If a student clicks on this, there's not much else to see. All of the entries will have this more details option, but for this event there aren't any other details, so that's a very simple event. Here's another event where I have some instructions, very simple. If the students wanted to see more details, they could, but again, this one's just a note trying to inform them of what they want. And then here's a third link where I have a good bit of information, including a link. So I want to show you how we can add these details to our calendar event so that our students will know what they need to do and they can get access to the information that they have or that they need. So let's take a look at our Google Calendar. And just here I am in my general calendar area. I want to look at this entry for the class data survey and quiz, and I'm going to select edit event details. And so when I do this, it opens up a window where I can add some details and some other controls to my Google event. Here is the description area where I can add as little or as much of a description as I need. Okay, one of the things I think that we have to have in order for our Google Calendar to either replace or strongly supplement the Learning Management System calendar is we've got to be able to add links from the calendar postings. So what you'll see here is I've used the A tag, the HTML A tag, which can be used to link to other things on the web or even link to different bookmarks on certain web pages. Now, if you're not familiar with this code, then it might look a little weird, but it really isn't that difficult. I won't go into the A tag and how it's structured, but you could find information about that on the internet and look at how to structure your A tag. If you're not familiar with it, but you have access to, let's say, a web editor like Front Page or SharePoint, then that's really the easiest way for you to make these edits and insert in your regular description, insert these HTML tags. So let's take a look at how we can do that. This is actually the web page that we're linking to, and this is the code. So if I wanted to add this link to my calendar posting, the first thing I would do is select the address and use Control-C to copy it. Okay. Then I'm going to pull up my web page editing software, which I use SharePoint. But in my design stage, what I'm going to say is I want to insert that link, and I want the link to say, let's look back at it and see exactly what it's going to say. The link is going to say class data survey. Okay, so what I'll do is just type the words class data survey, and I'm going to highlight that, and then I'm going to insert a hyperlink. Okay, and then I'll just do Control-V to paste the address to my actual page that I want to link to. Okay, so now this appears as a hyperlink, but really what I want to be able to see is the code that this is in the HTML code so that I can use that on my web page. So I'm going to look at the split view, and what I've highlighted here in my design view is also pretty much highlighted on my in my code. And so basically when you have a tag, there's a beginning tag and there's an end tag, and so you can see here that we're beginning with this A tag, And here we end with the A tag. And so anything that I copy, I want to make sure that I pick up the beginning and the end. Here's another example where I'm beginning with the P tag, paragraph tag, and I'm ending with that paragraph tag. So whatever it is we select, we want to make sure that we're copying the entire thing. So I'm going to select my A tag, and I'm going to hold down my shift key to select all of it. I've got the end of the P tag, but that's okay, I'll just delete that part. So I'm going to go to Control C, and I would bring this back over to my Google page where I'm creating my announcement and insert this in my code. Okay, and that's how I would get the code there that I need. If I wanted to do something with this list of events, I find that it's most useful for students if you list events step by step, step 1, step 2, step 3. And so I've tried to do that by separating this out, just by hitting enter at the end of each of the sentences. But it would be nice if I could add some bullets. So I'm going to copy this text by holding down Control and C. And I'm going to go back over to my web editor and just go ahead and Control V. Okay, now I'm going to highlight the text and add a bullet to it. And so you'll see here in my code area that the appropriate HTML tags and all have been added. So I'm just going to make sure that I get the beginning of this list tag and copy all the way to the end of the list tag. And I can select it in SharePoint by holding down the Shift key at the end of my selection. It copies all of it. I'm going to hold Control C to copy it and go back over to my calendar details and Control V to paste it. Okay, let's go ahead and save it. And to see what it looks like, we're going to go back over to the actual calendar that's on our web page. And I'm going to hit F5 just to make sure we refresh all of our events. Okay, and I'll go over to May. Here's our class data survey. When I click on it, okay, we've got some bullets. Looks like the spacing's a little funny, but I'm going to click on more details and see what that looks like. Okay, I think we need to go back and actually hit enter at the end of each of our lines. So let's go over to SharePoint again, because I don't like the way that that looks. And I can see now that I only have one bullet, but I wanted a bullet at the end of each of these, or the beginning of each of these lines. Alright, so I've got my second bullet, and we'll do it this way. I'm just deleting at the end so that it gets that list tag added to it, and so now I can see that each of the lines has my list code. And so we'll copy this again, and I'm going to add it to my events. Okay, and let's save it. And now when I look at my calendar, we'll hit F5 again and go over to May and look at the class data survey link. And now we have our instructions listed out step by step. If we go to more details, it actually looks a little better. We could go back and format this a little more. It looks like we've got some centering going on here. We could fix that. But we've added that code, and so now the students have everything that they need just from that calendar, so that they can go and look at the assignment and know everything that they need to know.